Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Davies with Zions Direct, and I'm here today with Rob Jepson, Senior Vice President with Commercial Loan Sales at Zions Bank. Rob is a winner of the Stevie Award for Banking Sales Team of the Year by the American Business Awards and is a regular industry author and keynote speaker. This is the first of 7 videos about the Business Performance Series. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your role with Zions Bank.
I'm the Director of Commercial Sales, so I work with a group of business bankers selling business products to business people, primarily business owners. And we spend a lot of time trying to help our bankers do a better job of understanding what problems can we solve for business owners and what results can we help business owners achieve faster than they ever thought possible. It's been a fun transition to help them move from thinking about products to problems.
Tell us about the Business Performance Series.
Well, we have a lot of clients at Zions Bank, and we spend a lot of time asking them, what do you care about and what would you like more help with? And it was interesting, the number one thing that we keep getting back is business owners in the state of Utah are saying, we want to get better at sales. But by the way, we don't think a bank is going to be able to help us that much with that. We saw that as a real big opportunity to spend some time saying, let's create a curriculum for our business owners on what creates a world-class sales organization. And what that turned out to be was 6 classes for business owners on the steps you need to consider to build a world-class sales organization, and therefore you can create a world-class sales team.
Now, I know there's a little bit of stigma attached with the word salesman.
Yeah.
How do you approach that in a different way so that people maybe are more comfortable with the idea?
A lot of people say salespeople are part of the problem. If not for those crazy salespeople, I could have what I want. We like to kind of turn it around and say salespeople are part of the solution. They're part of solving the problem. Most of the time, people don't really know how to solve their problem. That's why they have a problem in the first place. And done correctly, the person that solves the problem shouldn't be looked at as someone who's just pushing something on them. We'd like them to be looked at as someone who's creating something, a builder, a designer, or planner of value. Rather than call them salespeople, I like to call them engineers, value engineers.
Now, earlier you had mentioned the 6 points. Could you tell us what those are?
Yeah. So the 6 things that every business needs to do if you want to have a world-class sales organization. The first thing is you have to have a process. We found that less than 10% of organizations in the United States have a process to how they sell. Those that do, 82% of those companies hit their goal. The other thing that's interesting that we talk about in this day is a sales process isn't a script. It isn't say this, then this, then this. It's have customers experience this, then experience this, then experience this. And part of day 1 is our clients learn how to discover what that process should be on their own. Day 2, we talk about what it means to be prepared for a sales event. A lot of times people think it's product knowledge, and certainly that has its place. But what we try to do is have our clients understand that being prepared is more about understanding problems than it is products. We like to have people understand that being prepared for a sales event means I need to be able to discover a problem, understand why it matters, and then be able to have a real fluent conversation about the impact it has on the business if it is fixed or if it isn't. Day 3 is a really fun day. We found that the skill that's most predictive on how successful you'll be in sales is how adaptive are you in your communication style. So we have a day where we'll go through and help people understand communication styles. There's a couple of elements that will drive what communications go like, and everybody understands and processes things differently. We want to teach people how to understand what each style is, how do they process information, and what's the way you connect with people so you can therefore correct. Day 4 is another one where we bring in our different experts and we talk about what the sales model ought to be. At what point do we ask information type questions? At what time do we ask questions relative to problems? At what point do we start bringing in our products? We have an interesting process to help people understand really easily on how to do those kinds of things. Day 5 is one that we kind of shake things up a bit. Rather than talking about how to sell, we're going to talk about other things that lead to people making buying decisions. One of the important things to understand is rather than focusing on how to sell, focus on why people buy and what influences people. There's a couple of other influencers that we like to bring into the equation. One is, what are some of the marketing activities that really make a difference? We call them the boom start principles, and it's by some other authors in the area that we bring in. The other thing that we do that day is we talk about how to use social media relative to selling, not just exposure, but relative to selling. The last day is my favorite. Day 6 is our leadership day. We wrap everything up and we talk about having a leadership process on how do you win all year long. What we found is being a great leader really comes down to this. How do I make a point without making an enemy, and therefore live a life with fewer regrets? It's a fantastic day. It's one that helps you not just with your business, but in life in general. And that's the one that we have the greatest feedback from our clients that attend.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Rob.
Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline Davies, and today we've been talking with Rob Jepson, and we'll hope to see you again next time.